and like recycled, as in the true sense of recycling a bike, as in making sure it goes to a new owner. The bikes ultimately, if they go to a recycling centre, although that sounds like, yeah, it's getting recycled, and yes, it probably will, down into components form, but bikes, when they're made, can go through several owners. Hi and welcome to another pedal preservation. This time on the Bike Star we have an unusual bike. It is a Revolution Street Finder. To be honest, I don't know much about them. I did a bit of research and the only reference I could find to it is from a post in 2013 where somebody had had their bike stolen. So it's probably from maybe 2010, maybe slightly later. It does have Edinburgh Bicycles written down there. Maybe they were the distributor or the supplier, I'm not honestly sure. This is sister bike to the other one that I did recently, the Giant Escape. So came in on the same donation. Overall the condition doesn't look too bad. We've got the usual cobwebs up on the handlebars, a bit of rust on the noodles, a bit of grass here and there. As I say, not really familiar with the brand, I haven't seen one before. There's a bit of corrosion, chain not too bad, probably recoverable, Shimano components, etc. Nice bike, like obviously hybrid style bike, nice upright riding position. You've got the rack on the back, which is nice, and this one's got the basket on the front as well, which I will remove it for doing the video, but I think I will be putting that back on because that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, Bell's seen better days. But apart from that, yeah, I think this one will be a winner. So as always, we're going to get the wheels off. So I'm just going to give the gears a wee play and just see where we're at with those. Oh, everything is truly dry. But you know what? The shifters and all that are working. See if we can drop down here. Yeah. Well, that's all working actually. So I think hopefully bend wise, well, I like these shifters. He's got the good shifters. If I just tilt that down, I like these ones. So you change from one side, don't know if you can see that, but you change them with one paddle and then change them back up with the other paddle on the other side. So it's like thumb on one and then finger on the other. I like those. My own bikes have got those. Right, so that doesn't look too bad. Actually, brakes, everything are working. Dry and tight, but working. This is actually going to be a nice bike. I don't think this is going to give us too much grief, although I probably just said that, I've condemned myself. It's actually got a really nice saddle as well with the vent hole in there. Yeah, this is nice. I think it's an aluminium frame as well, so it's actually quite light. Yeah, this is going to be a doddle. Tires are flat, so I'm hoping we're not going to need new tires like the last one, because that does like hit the budget a bit. But because ultimately, once this bike is donated to my local bike library, or it has been donated to my local bike library, once they've got it, they'll be able to get more for it because it's a better bike and raise funds for other projects. Right, let's get the wheels off. A little bit tight. Oh, remember, before we do this every time, we forget to unhook all the brakes, because we'll need to do that to get the wheels off. So slacken in the nuts. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. You know, if you think you're going to put your bike away for a while, just like literally rinse it with oil. That's literally all it would take. Rinse it with oil, and all these bits that just rust just wouldn't rust. Oh, we have a skew in the front wheel. Interesting. I suppose, yeah, if you're putting the bike in a car, then it'd really only be the front wheel you'd ever take off, but you feel for the cost of a skew, you can have one front and back. Yeah, so everything's just like super dry. Not coming off yet. There we go, wheel off. Now I've got a bit better idea what the bike looks like. Oops. Tilt the nose down. Stop that spinning round. But first things first, we're going to put air in the tyres. Oh dear. You can see the valve sitting out at an angle, so we want to probably just, there's a little bit of air in, which is promising, because it means that the tire's not flat. But unlike the last one, it wasn't the tire being flat that was the issue. What I'm doing is I'm just making sure that the tire's broken away from the bead, so that the tire will slide and hopefully get the... Wow, what is it with these? Rusty spoke. Right, straight. It was the case of working it all the way around. Spoke. Right, straight. It was the case of working it all the way. There we go, 88. Oh, God. Right, what we're looking for is just any tearing around the wall, but that all looks okay. I think we've lucked in here, hopefully, but we'll find out. We'll come back to that one. Well, we'll come back to both of them by the time we finish the bike and see if they've gone down at all. If they haven't gone down in a day, then we're definitely looking more at being a winner, hopefully, but we'll find out. We'll come back to that one. Well, we'll come back to both of them. Compressor, what am I thinking? Ooh. There's a one. Once again, just gonna look around the rim, look for any, just looking for some cracking more than anything, but I think we're looking good, just good, because as I say, it's £30 for a pair of reasonable tyres. Next step is obviously we're going to try and get all the brakes etc all lubed up, the brake cables I should say as well, but you know what, to make life a bit easier, I'm going to take the basket off. Huh, look at that. It seemed... Alright, must actually disconnect and come off somehow. Actually, with that. And I don't know whether this is all just seized on. I don't know. And you kind of feel like, oh, there we go. Ah, look at that. Basket off. Yeah, of course the basket's going to come off. Why did I think it wouldn't come off? Cool, right, you know what, although saying that, there's a lot of corrosion on the handlebars we're going to need to get, so I'm going to take it off. I'm going to take the basket off temporarily. I will put it back on. That'll give me a wee chance just to maybe deal with these wee screws as well, because the screws are all corroded and I'm not going to clean them up, they're just self-tappers, so I'm sure I'll have some. It's my neighbour's crazy dog. Not my dog. Whoop. Oh. Right. There's like a tie wrap or something in the back there, so that's going to need to come off. There's my snips. Right. Funny enough, actually, where the basket bracket's been, there's no corrosion. So there you go. It's obviously helped. Let's get rid of this bell as well. This is not being restored. This will not be going back on the bike. I don't know. It would have had a bell originally. I don't know where that's gone. I'm sure it had a nicer looking bell than this. That can go in the bin. Right, looking a little bit nicer up the front end if you ask me. So let's get lubing. So as always, GT85. We just want to get that into the backs of the brake pivots. Oof, right, they are tight. fact, you know what I'm going to do? Because I've got a lot of cobwebs and stuff. What we're done. I don't want to get that tangled. I'm just going to give everything just a quick blast with air. Talk about getting rid of the cobwebs. Okie dokie. Okay, you now see. Right. So we'll just get into the backs of the shifters, etc. now, just so we can let that soak in. I think these were actually all okay. They certainly felt like they were changing up and down okay. But what we will do is we'll be exposing all the cabling and housing, and we'll be getting all that lubed up. So first the brakes. So first brake we unhooked that, which will give us a little bit of leeway that way, and just to give us a little bit extra, as I've said in many of the videos, you just align the wee gaps down to the bottom, and there we go, and then it just unhooks from the back. You don't have to do this, but as we're not going to take this cable out, it just gives us a little bit more leeway with the lube. And in fact, looking at the state of that, I think I might actually take this cable out, and because again, it's going to be a really nice bike, and you know, you don't want to, like your new bike, you go to buy it and it's got that on it. So let's snip that off, and we need Allen key. Done it to the side. Well, that's an interesting brake lever. I don't know what this is. There's like threads and stuff all over the bike. I don't know whether somebody's tried to clean it with something. Oh, you know what? I should probably have squirted some oil on everything first. Right. Fun's going to be now is, see, it's quite kinked. Sorry, it's quite kinked. Don't want to have to replace it, but I think I might. If I'm going to replace that, I think I might have to. We'll see how we do. We'll see how we do getting that back through the housing. Well, to be honest, I think I've already given in. Right, I'm just going to quickly squirt the lube down the housing. Well, so there you go. Quite free. You know, I'm going to do it. I can't help it. I'm going to put a new cable on. I'm looking down here. I could see one sitting there and think, you know what, Rick, you've got it apart anyway. So, just do it. Right, going to lube it. Any lube will do. Just pinch it and then run it down. A little bit more oil and then run down. Obviously we don't actually need to run this down too far because we're only going to be utilising the top section of this. Just give that a wee straight in. Now this should go through a hell of a lot better. Oh yeah, what a difference. Actually that is a lot smoother. A lot smoother. Right, where did I put the other noodle? Oops. So I've got cable on, cable on, cable on, cable on, and then now we can go through the noodle. And then the rubber. Boom. The noodles are actually already greased. Let's take my hands, because when you pop it through you always get a bit of grease on there, so that is good. Right, let's hook all this back in. So I'll just stand in front of the light. Okay, then we just give that a quick turn and that'll just stop all the cabling dropping out. And we can probably just pop that back in. All this can go up like that. Can actually, in fact I won't pop that back in there then now. I'm going to pop that through its guide there. Let's just screw that back down, get a bit of tension on it. That should stop all that. If you keep it tidy, stop it all dropping out. But we'll come back to that to finish it off. In fact, what I'll do is just give that a nick up. No, wait a minute, that's not gone through properly. See, it's got like a little, like a set of teeth. There we go. That's how it goes through. Right, I don't want to squash the cable, although it wouldn't matter, this part will be getting cut off anyway. We'll just leave that dangling. So that's that one done. So the rest we're actually just going to like pull them all out. So as before, the rear derailleur, you get it into small gear, push it in, which takes all the tension out the cable, and then you can just, right, what happened there is the outer got left behind, and that'll drop down. You see, slack, pull that one out, and then that all drops down. So we do it with that one, and then we can do it with the brakes, because obviously the rear brakes are all disconnected. So, actually, oh no, it goes round to there, it wasn't fully enclosed. We can take, it's not a lot, it's almost fully enclosed, but it's enough just to get, see, we can expose the cable there and get lube etc on that. So that's cool. Right, so we need to take the tension out of here. So this one I'm just going to put that into, now that of course I've got the chain off, I'm not going to be able to get that down into the smallest gear. Oh, we can. Now we just pull that towards us, you'll see, pulling that towards me will make the cable all slack, and then I can just pull it out at the back there. And again, we've got more cables all exposed. So if we pull all these cables down, and then we can oil, well we've done that one, then we can oil going back the way. Like that, so you can see. I would like to have had more of a run, but unfortunately there's bits that are exposed and bits that are not, unfortunately. If we can get that cable out, can we? Nah, don't think anyway. Oh, no, got a bit more out there. Nah. I thought we could have got a bit more exposed, but it's going to be minimal. But it's enough. It's enough to get oil onto the cables, etc. Give that a wee run up and down there. That feels nice and free now. I'm sure this bit will be free too, so I can pop that back through. Just feed it a wee bit. Right, but before we start putting all the cables back in fact, of course, got to do that one, shifter. The rest of it, although these don't run through the thing, I'm just doing this for stop it corroding. Let's get that wee clean. Pull out from the back there. Back. Oh, see the wee outer, the wee end cap, sorry, it's falling away there. In fact, we'll leave that off because what we're going to do, we're going to clean the frame of the bike because this is... Okay, let's, as before, we'll get this thing just washed down. is probably borderline where you probably just should have cleaned it outside rather than just doing all this. But gets the job done. As I say, we're going to take care of all that rust with a little bit of steel wool. Takes that off nicely. It's a nice cream frame. I do like the colour of this actually, and the paint's coming up nice. God, there's all this thread. It's just, there we go. You know, I often think when I'm cleaning the bikes, I just think if these bikes aren't donated and like recycled, as in the true sense of recycling a bike, as in making sure it goes to a new owner, the bikes ultimately, if they go to a recycling centre, although that sounds like, yeah, it's getting recycled, and yes, it probably will, down in its components form, but bikes, when they're made, can go through several owners, like when you're kids and your bikes get handed down to your siblings. You know, adult bikes can do that as well. Like these two bikes have been donated, and you know, these all get fully serviced and go off to a new owner, and then when that owner's done with it, he donates it back and then it goes to another owner. And that's how it should be. Bikes should have multiple owners. You know, if you think that I've done lots of bikes from the 80s, I think, I mean, maybe when bikes get quite old, you know, you're going back to the 70s, not so practical, you know, possibly, you know, maybe for restoration purposes it's fine, but probably for practical use maybe not so much. But when you've got bikes, say in the 80s, that's still a very serviceable bike. You know, modern gearing, you know, nice rim brakes, etc. You know, that can be easily renovated. Already done quite a few of those. And so if you've got a bike that's that old, that's still getting restored and going to a new owner, you know, bikes are designed to go through many owners, as long as they're just not thrown out. And I think this is the sad thing, is there's too many bikes get thrown out into landfill. Yeah, I mean, you can put it under the guise of recycling, but let's face it, there's a lot about a bike that can't be recycled, and that's if it's actually done properly. You know, so if it was possibly thrown into the scrap pile at a recycling centre rather than being put aside where it's properly stripped down, etc., it may not get recycled properly, or even recycled at all, because there's so many parts on a bike that has to be recycled differently, that it's just not worth the hassle when you've got loads and loads of bikes. But when bikes are donated or passed down to new owners, ultimate recycling. We've got more than enough bikes in the world already. You know, there's probably a bike for every person. I mean, there's just so many. Think about all the bikes that end up in containers and sent out to Africa and repurposed. It is a great thing. Right, so that is the chassis done. We need to do the wheels and tyres, but I tend to do the wheels and tyres on the bike because it's just easier rather than sort of doing them on my lap, etc. But what I've actually forgotten to do, I meant to just put a tiny little bit of, just a wee bit of lube in the brake pivots, etc. I mean, they're all moving okay, but what this will do, it's not just for that, it'll stop them it'll stop things rusting. That's the thing. If you literally were going to stick your bike in the shed for the winter, if you just went ill crazy, just sprayed the whole thing with WD-40 or, you know, any kind of oily lube, job done. It would come out and it wouldn't be all like, you know, where you got all the rust on, all the sort of cheap metal part components, etc. You wouldn't have that problem. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get all the cables tucked away and we'll get the chain off, because that is looking a bit depressing. So you see, you can just easily hook all them back in. We're now at the back here. If I spin around a wee bit, again, push the derailleur in and it gives us all the slack we need. See, boom, twing, tight. And we can do the same with the rest for the brakes, etc. There's the rear brake. Pop that back in. So you just can't quite see that, it's just round the wrong way. That's that one in. Well, that's not working yet because I haven't got that connected back on. I think I'll need to do a wee bit of adjustments because of the way that one actually worked. Right, this is the front shifter, and that hooks in there. But we'll need to again pull the that derailleur towards me, and then we can hook that back in. And that's now, you can see the one at the back there. Feels not too bad. Maybe give this a wee bit of spray some oil just to get it all settling in. That's a little bit better. I think things are just starting to work in now. Again, we can't really, well, pedal a wee bit. Yep, that's working okay. Brakes are working okay. This I will need to. Oh, that was my skateboard. Why is this a little bit on the tight side? See, that'd been a problem when I hook it back up, but we'll come back to that. Right, chain. Okay, so we want to get the chain off, but actually, to be honest, I'm starting to look at the chain thinking I might just need like a really good clean on the chain cleaner. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if there's like a quick link to break the chain. If there is, it's easy to take off. If there's not, it means I've got to push one of the pins out, which is not so easy. And I got a feeling it's not got a quick release. I think I'm going to have to take it off anyway, because although, in fact, before we do anything, let's check the chain's not worn out, because if it's worn out, I am faffing around for no reason. So you know how the chain checker works. It's hooked in on one pivot point and then in the front of the other. And you can see in that one, well, see, it's not bottoming out, so I would probably say about 50% through its wear, but always worth checking a couple of different bits. Yeah, it's a bit the same, so not ideal. I might change the chain. I'll see how we get on. If we're not spending money elsewhere, we might actually do that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chain off anyway. So in fact, let's just spin you around a wee bit, you're not seeing it. So this is my chain breaker from Feedback Tools. So it's a kind of double whammy one. So you push it in, but you got to remember to screw the back in first, otherwise you snap the pins off, which I have done. But Feedback are a good company and they gave me another one, no questions asked. So we'll push that through until you kind of feel tension, and then it kind of crests, because you don't want to push the pin all the way out the other side, otherwise it's just an absolute nightmare to put back on. But if you don't put, oh, we did. I was gonna say, if you don't push it through enough, then it won't pop off. But we have done. So that is a victory. And then we can just pop that through. And let's have a look at this chain. I don't know. There's a bit of a surface coating of rust, but I think that's totally salvageable. Or what I might do is, this is the chain off another bike, and that chain was actually brand new, but it was just clearly left outside and corroded. And I know that looks pretty disgusting, but I think that is actually restorable. You'd be amazing what an ultrasonic cleaner would do to take that off. But we'll see where we go, because I think this one probably looks better. But we'll see. So I'm going to actually put that and start soaking it now. Okay, now with the wheels off, we can have a little bit of an inspection of axles, etc. Freewheel hub, absolutely no bother. Absolutely smooth. There's a little bit of cosmetic rust on there, but that doesn't make any difference. There's a little bit of surface rust, actually barely surface rust on the cassette as well, but that'll actually clear off. What I might do is actually take the cassette off, put it in my ultrasonic cleaner with some degreaser, and actually that'll come up surprisingly well. Right, this one unfortunately is not so pretty. Again, you've got the cosmetic corrosion, but if I spin it around, it's a little bit lumpy. So I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to take the axle out on this one and see if there's any damage. If it's just a case of cleaning, we can do that. We can pack more grease in, etc. Worst case scenario, I might need to find another wheel, but we'll get this out and see where we're at. First things first, we'll take the skewer off so we can get access. Just pop that out. Make sure you put everything back to where it should be. Right, we need a couple of tools. This one, because you've got two nuts, one in the top and one in the bottom. So that one is not quite grabbing the bottom one. So we're going to need something a bit smaller, which is unfortunately these small ones, which they're okay, but oh, they're so thin and sharp. You know, part tool, just saying. There we go, that's that one done, and then we need an adjustable. So hopefully this will not be too corroded. In fact, what I'm going to do is just going to put some of the releasing agent on, that it'll be there long enough to do anything. So I'm hoping this will come off nice and easy, because I can't put too much force on this because this is just so sharp. Oh, oh, we're lucky, we're lucky. Yep, that's come off. Now put that in the pot. Hang on, just gonna tilt you up, guys. Right, so the locking nuts come off, but what it is that's kind of locked to the other side. That is gritty as. So what you need to do is, obviously you've got your cone spanner on there, and because the other sides, there's like again two locking nuts, but they're still on, I'll be able to turn those and that'll stay still. There we go. In fact, there's the lube coming into action. Right, so what I want to do is take this off, and because I'm thinking this is more than, at least I don't think it's more than just packing grease into it, because it felt rough. Surely the bolts are actually quite clean in there. You know what I'm going to do? Probably just live to regret this. I'm going to pack some grease into it, see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'll have to take it all off and clean it. A wee bit more room. Whoop. So I don't want that. You can pull that through, spin that round, and then do the other side. I doubt this is going to work, but it might be enough to make it smooth. It might have just been dry. Ooh, actually. Do you know what? I think we might be alright. Because when you get a rusty, you can take all the bearings out, clean them, but ultimately, if the corrosion's bad enough, the cups the bearings go round in are corroded, and there's nothing you can do. You can polish them, etc., but you end up rebuilding the wheel or the bearing, and then you put it back, and then it's just exactly the same. You know what? We'll see what it's like. If it's no good, then it will have to be. It's not a big job to get into this wheel. It's not like if it were the back wheel, then yeah, that's like a different job. This is now just the hit and miss game of tightening the nut up. So you just tighten it and then try it. Actually feels not too shabby. Oops, sorry. Right, let's have a go at getting this on the bike. Right. So, knee up. Gap's good. Right, feels good. Oh, you know what? Perfect. It's quiet, there's no play. Well, that avoided a disaster. Actually, that has worked out really well. So, quick hit, quick fix. Okay, now the back. Good. It is. Right, make sure we're all lined up in the frame. Oop. Look up that side. There we go. Beautiful. Sounding good too. Nice one. Again, more thread. Where's this stuff come from? And of course, now we've got the back wheel, we can actually just give this a quick clean. Comes up nice, that wheel. Flip it over. The two fingers. Don't think we're going to get them through this time. Just like that. Where's the valve? There we go. Right, There we go. Winding down. Yuck. There we go. Need to do the floss. Flossing. Let's floss that wheel. Boom, done. Okay, time for brakes. Let's see where we're at with those. Let's get them connected up and adjusted. Let's see if we've done our job right. Put that back. So we just want to slacken that off. Pull all the tension out of it so there's nothing, so it's solid. And then just let it back off slightly. Don't worry if it's too much, because you can adjust that up here if need be. Let's give it a good squeeze. Yep, that's all working tickety-boo. Right, as you can see, we've got one, that one's not working. Weight in that it's not working, so as you see, that's pulled across to the wheel, which means that there's not enough tension to pull that back over to balance it. So if we put the driver in the screw adjuster here and then just start pulling the trigger, you can see that. Oh, see, it was just starting to pull out. Sometimes you've got to go too far and then back again. Oh, looks like we're going to get it this time. See? Nice even amount. You want them both coming in about the same. See both sides? That way. See? Boom. Instant brake. These are actually really good brakes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lock that off, because that is good. And I'm going to cut the cable as well as a finalization. Boom. There we go. And then we need the wee ferrule for the end, which is the definitive I've finished this bit. Do a wee crimp there, bend it down. Sometimes there's a wee hook at the back there, you can hook it around so it doesn't twang out. I would say that these brakes are winning. Now we're going to do the back one. Okay, back brakes now. As I say, I've moved all the hoses about, so this might not be as simple as the front, I think, but we'll see. Put that back in, slide that back over. Actually, might be alright. You know, it's all working, just feels like, there's a little bit. I don't want to take the cable out and redo it, but it just feels like there's a bit of tension. I think it might be because of the angle, you know, the hose is going down, then back up and over. There's a lot of twists and bends in it. Maybe it might just take a little bit of time for, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put a little bit of lube in there and see if that'll feed down a little bit, if this is the tight part. Oh, why is this not easy? Let's take the hose out of this side. Which I don't think I did that earlier, did I? Right, let's pop all this back in, see where we're at. A wee bit better. Right, let's get these brakes adjusted. They're actually, oh, we're slightly off. In fact, the problem we've got with this one, this brake block is actually touching the tyre slightly. So what we'll do is slacken that, drop it down slightly, just push the brake against the wheel, and then we can just tighten it, stop it rotating. So as with the other one, I don't know if you can see this, that side is moving a lot more than this side, so we need to pull a bit more tension back towards me. So we can just, there we go, didn't take much that one. Keep forgetting there's no chain. There we go, not too much travel, boom, instant stop on the wheel. So that is feeling, the wheels are on and this is all feeling real good. Just adjusting a little bit more tension in the rear brake, which I can do there because I just like both my levers to feel the same. Let's just check that is clamped up. It is crimped up. Again, get the wee hook inside there. See that? For the cable. Nice touch. Okay, so the chain's cleaned up, not too bad at all. So now I get this back on the bike. Now, we've also got a pin. Ideally we want to get the pin to this side. That's going to make it easier for pushing it back through. Let's get this. So, thread and needle. Right, through the front derailleur. Sorry, that noise in the background is my ultrasonic cleaner. Switch it off. Right, so we are going to need obviously our chain tool and the tension keeper or honorer thing. So we can easily pop that back through. Sorry, my head in the way, hope not. There we go. Now we just slot that in. So that's backed off. Okay. Right, let's push that back through. Get it to that pin is flush. Oh, there we go. Good, it's not tightened up. Sometimes the link will tighten when you push the pin through, but it hasn't done in this instance. Right, let's see how she's shifting. She is not, because she is actually on the first gear. There we go. Right. Okay, and then boom, 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 boom. Okay. I could just do a tiny bit of. Right, actually, there's no adjusters on the tensioner, so there's the one here. So that'll just put a wee bit more tension, pushing the derailleur for changing up. So let's just drop that down to gear 1. Oh, still a little bit hesitant. Whack that up to the top, back down again, give it a wee rinse. It's just a wee bit hesitant on the bottom ones. There's tension on the table. There's just that wee. I'm going to have to live with it. Only rubbed from the very, very top one. Right, I think we're doing good. Boom. So what did you think of this bike? Didn't really need a lot, did it? Just what, one brake cable, pack the front wheel bearing with some grease, we cleaned the chain, and that certainly revived it. I mean, if you wanted to cover yourself for the next 1,000 miles, a new chain, £10, job's a good one. So this was a great used bike, and this bike will now be heading down to the local bike library for its new owner. If you like the video, then like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.